Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another stream of Ace Attorney Investigation Collection. We are in the fourth case, and of course this would look like this. So let's begin. Let's start the next one. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be a good one. Maybe you all think it won't be good, but it'll be good. So just to let you all know, young judges for justice, okay? Poster of the judge. There's a longer slogan of some sort of it in tiny letters at the bottom. Every strike of my gavel brings the truth closer to me, and my hair farther away. Is this a promotional poster for the court or a hair growth product? I know, so weird. Defendant lobby number 1. Alright. Hello, Gumshoe. And you are? Oh, me? Hey, pal. It's common courtesy to tell someone your name first before asking theirs. Yeah, point taken. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I'm a district prosecutor. A prosecutor? Never seen a prosecutor as young as you, pal. I told you my name. Now would you mind telling me yours? Detective Dick Gumshoe, and just recently I achieved my dream of becoming a detective. More than a dream, it's what I was born to do. Wait, maybe I should check and make sure I'm not really in some crazy dream first. This detective is entirely too excited to be at a murder scene. Hey, Hedgewolf! How you doing? Good to see you here tonight. How have you been? How was your stream today? So, Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling me what you know about the incident? You know what I don't have to tell you. You know that I don't have to tell you anything, right? I'm doing good. I'm hoping the stream goes well again today and nothing breaks. Hopefully all goes well. I know that, but it would behoove you to fill me in on what you know. Wow, you're a proud one for such a youngster, aren't you? Well, anyway, Detective Bad is the one in charge, so you're just gonna have to ask him for all the details, okay? As for me, I was guarding the door to the defendant lobby number 2. So you were on guard detail. Did you notice anything strange while you were on duty? Well, I freaked out when I heard a gunshot, and then I kinda froze. You're a detective and a measly gunshot scared you that much? Then again, I can hardly claim to not know what it's like to hear one of those at close range. Then Detective Bad came running to the scene. We went into lobby number 2 together, and both men were lying there. Dead. Is that everything? Yeah, that's it. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Interesting. Other than the gunshot, you didn't hear a single sound of commotion. Do anything fun today, Hedgewolf? Any awesome tings? What is going on here? The sofa looks like it's seen a fair share of use, and it looks like another part of the courthouse is visible from the window. Eck, my eyes have locked with my reflection's eyes in the barred window. As a student of Von Karma, I refuse to back down. I won. Okay. You're a strange one. Who are you, lady? Do you have a minute? You know, I'm not really into talking to people I don't know, especially at a time like this. Ah, I apologize for not introducing myself before bothering you. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I was to take Miss Faraday's place in court. Edgeworth, huh? Never heard of you. So Faraday's substitute is a newbie, huh? I'll have you know, madam, that I studied under Manfred von Karma. Do not take me for some naive novice. Do not take me for some naive novice? So you're a student of Von Karma? I should have... Those clothes are a dead giveaway. Stop right there. These are the garments of one who gallantly presents the facts. Thanks for the great laugh, but try not to make me laugh so much, okay? I wasn't trying to do anything of the sort. Just kidding. I was just goofing around. By the way, do you know who I am? My name is Callisto Yu. And if you're telling the truth, then we were about to go head-to-head in court. Ah, but of course, I've heard much about you, Miss Yu. But of course, I have heard much about you. You're a regular Shakespeare. Did I say something funny? I'd like you to update me on the situation. I don't really know anything. Why don't you try talking to those detectives over there? If that's the case, then why are you here? What's so funny? It's just that the way you speak is so tactless. The person I was going against in court until only a little while ago was just murdered. It's not like I could go back into the courtroom pretending as though nothing has happened. That's a good point. I apologize for asking such an insensitive question. It's fine, don't worry about it. Well, that's the end of that. Now let's speak to this big guy. Excuse me, but who are you? Detective Tyrell Bad. Homicide. I was informed of the situation and came as quickly as possible. So, how did you arrive and inspect the body before me? Faraday requested for me to testify in the trial. Plain and simple. Mr. Faraday requested that you be here? Okay. I've already contacted HQ about the situation. I've got nothing to say to you, kid. Kid? I'm Mr. Faraday's substitute in today's trial. Therefore, I insist that you update me on the situation. I can't back down here. I have a right to know. Do I need to teach you a thing or two about how to talk to adults, kid? Is he threatening me? Oh. Is he going for his gun? Oh, okay. It's just a mirror? How dare he trick me like that? Faraday was stabbed to death with some kind of blade, and he had a gun in his hand. The other man, Mr. Mackrell, was shot and killed. He was found holding a bloody knife in his hand. Was there anyone else who went into the defendant lobby number 2? Yeah, that big lug over there. His name's Gumshoe. He was in charge of guarding the place. He's claiming that no one else entered the room. If that's the case, then they must have killed each other, correct? Maybe. Such impudence. This guy is really testing my patience. Why was I not informed that you were going to testify in court? Homicides aren't my only gig. The Yatagarasu case is also one of my assignments. So you were called upon to comment on the Yatagarasu's characteristics, in order to assess if Mr. Faraday really was the Yatagarasu or not? Well, well, looks like you just might have a brain after all in that head of yours, son. Son? I'm not your son, Pops. Miss Yu, there is someone here who wishes to see you. Who is it? A Cardopian embassy staff member by the name of Manny Cochin. What? What's going on? Detective Bad and Miss Yu's moods just changed all of a sudden. Wait a second, wasn't Manny Cochin? I'll be right there. It's nice to see you again, Miss Yu. Why are you here? I have no desire to ever see you again. Now. Actually, would you mind stepping outside for a brief chat? Fine, let's go. Bad. Von Karma, it's been a long time. I knew you would show up. You usually do when the Yatagarasu is involved, and I see this case as no exception. Do you know Detective Bad, sir? Yes, he's like an old bloodhound that never leaves the scene of a crime. If only he would get promoted and move on. It's the crime scene where a detective is most useful and effective. It's not like I don't know that. Moving on though, Bad. The man I just passed by. Was he not the suspect from the KG-8 incident? So I was right. Just what is that man doing wandering around here? That Faraday. I can't believe he let such an easy catch get away. Imbecile! I would have proven his guilt in 3 minutes. Von Karma, I think you've said enough for now. It's in poor taste to speak like that about the departed. Very well. Back on topic. I'm placing Edgeworth in charge of the investigation here. Huh? Oh my gosh! It's little Franziska! Papa, how can you place him in charge? Franziska, what are you doing here? I'm here for summer vacation. What else? Franziska von Karma. So she is here on vacation from Germany. She is the daughter of Manfred von Karma and a student of his, who's also junior to me. You're the one who's junior to me, and don't you forget it. You're not conveniently avoiding the bar examination, are you? Huh. If you were able to pass, then I'll have absolutely no trouble at all. I'll never allow myself to lose to you. Never! Why does she always have to be this competitive? Anyway, Papa, are you really assigning Miles Edgeworth to cover the case? Yes, I am. Why do you ask? Well, you know, I'm close to becoming a prosecutor myself. And I am 100% confident that I can do a better job than him. That's just like Franziska. She has no problem bad-mouthing someone right in front of them. Bad? Yeah. These two will be conducting the investigation. What? You want me to let both of these kids loose on the crime scene? Ha. This is the perfect opportunity for them to work on their prosecutorial skills. A crime scene is not a place for children to be messing around in. I'm the one with the authority over this crime scene, Bad, and I will not tolerate complaining. Edgeworth, Franziska, I leave this case to the two of you. Understood, sir. Yes, Papa. I'll go take care of the paperwork now. Remember, I'll accept nothing but a perfect report from the both of you. Do not disappoint me. And there he goes. Hold up, Von Karma. I still haven't agreed to this. Miles Edgeworth. It's been quite some time, Franziska. This will be the perfect chance for us to see which of us is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. Would it kill you to at least say hello? Long time no see. Very good. Just because you became a prosecutor first doesn't mean you can act all proud. She hasn't changed a bit. Aw, she has a smaller whip. A crop whipper. What are they called? I don't know. Miles Edgeworth, as I was saying, we shall see which one of us is worthy of the Von Karma name. For crying out loud, I've been reduced to a babysitter. It looks like Mr. Von Karma was successful in convincing the detective. That's just like him. He never fails. Now I'd appreciate it if you could quickly run me through the facts, Detective Bad. You're better off checking things out on your own. Very well. Seems like getting help from Detective Bad will be a most arduous task. Oh boy, they died right on top of each other. Is the only real explanation that they killed each other. Is the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously? Miles Edgeworth, you should listen to someone until they are finished talking. What are you talking about? I'll only say it one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. No wonder he was worried about the other guy having a gun. Yep. And this is the result of that guy having a gun. 2 dead bodies. A competition? The person that figures out the truth first wins. So the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name. Exactly. I don't care that you became a prosecutor before me. I'll simply refuse to hear any more foolish things come from your foolishly foolish mouth. Fine, whatever makes you happy. Can I take that as you accepting my challenge? Once again, whatever makes you happy. Ha! Well then, let's begin the investigation, shall we? I'm going to find the perfect evidence and prettily present it like the professional I am. Competing to discover the truth behind a crime. How delightfully childish. Oh, wait a minute. You kids, over here. Hold it. Kid. Huh, serves you right, Miles. He just called you a kid. I said kids, kid. How dare you call me a kid as well? I'll do what I please, and I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene. Hey, big guy, you're going to watch over these two. Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir.
I'll do what I say from now on, kids, okay?
You'd better not get in our way, Scruffy. You feel the bite of my whip if you do.
Eek! Then you, prosecutor boy, let's get your investigation started already, alright?
Great. Now even that detective is treating me like a child.
Alright, it's time to get investigating. Get a move on, prosecutor boy.
My name is Miles Edgeworth, and if you were to call me prosecutor boy one more time, it will be my duty as a prosecutor to look into your monthly salary.
What? And what do you do? What would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was?
It's up to you now, isn't it?
Really? Sounds good, pal.
You're so naive. Okay, here's the plan, Franziska. You just stand there, and I'm going to investigate things, okay? Detective Bad, may I have a word with you?
What is it?
It appears that both a knife and a gun were used as murder weapons.
Yeah, it does.
Then leads us to our first question of the investigation. Where did the men acquire the weapons?
The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It was a piece of evidence that was presented in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Kodopian embassy staff member. But I never heard anything about the knife. Mr. Rell was being held by the police. There's no way he could have brought it in, which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well.
Could it have been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented? But then, why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what if it's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence? BRB. Okay,
I gotcha.
He could have then brought it out and attacked Mr. Rell with it.
Huh? Maybe you've got a brain in there after all, kid.
Nah. Is he going to treat me like a child forever? It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. Rell first, who then counterattacked. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw from a scene like this. Not yet. I feel like it's much too early to be drawing conclusions already. Hey, Mafia! Mafia babe has arrived. How you doing today? How's life treating ya?
Look at this, Detective Mafia.
Just to let you know, we're in the past now. We're 7 years in the past. I must first find conclusive evidence so as to protect the honor of the Von Karma name. And look who's here, Mafia. Look who's here. It's a younger Franziska. How old are these two, by the way? How old is everyone? Let's see. Doesn't show my age, but Franziska's 13 at this point. Only 13 years old. My goodness. Did you figure something out? This is a competition, Miles, and such I'd like to appreciate it if you didn't talk to me. As you wish. Well, there we have it. There are some plastic bags stacked up on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of a disturbance.
Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy. Maybe they were super quiet in their scruffle? After all, I didn't hear anything from out in the hallway, you know?
Maybe the plastic bags scattered on the floor are throwing us off.
Oh, Gumshoe is following me. There's some stuff in the bag, pal.
I suppose this was Mr. Faraday's bag. It's probably the trial evidence I was supposed to collect from him.
This is the evidence? Ah, I'd better not touch it. I'll leave prints on it.
Do you just not pay attention to anything you do? So I don't know how much you know about this case, Mafia, but there's 2 dead people, and yeah. Who killed them? Did they kill each other? Did someone else kill them? What's going on? Was it this police officer that killed them? The window was open, and there's a fresh flowery scent in the air.
The flowers in the garden down there are so gross and ghastly.
Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change?
Well, at least there's no way someone escaped through the window, pal. They would have woke up and smelled the flowers after a fall from the 3rd floor.
Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there are also iron bars on the windows?
Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get through these windows, right?
They thought of everything when they were designing this courthouse. Very nice.
Whoa! What is it, Detective Gumshoe? My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal.
Then perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television, like this one.
Oh, let me see here. Wow, this thing is huge. Ah! And way too noisy.
You're the noisy one, Scruffy.
Don't touch it. You'll get your fingerprints all over it.
But I didn't touch it.
Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work.
The foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on. Well, TV's a bit messed up. The TV has been left on.
Why are you looking at me like that? It wasn't me. I didn't touch anything.
Gumshoe, do you know what will happen to you if you touch something again?
Right. I won't touch anything. I won't ever go anywhere near the TV, sir. And, get back to your investigation, alright?
Was planning to do so anyway. Well, there you have it. Detective Bear, do you have any thoughts on the case?
Faraday and Rel. Looks like they killed each other to me. Although, there are a few things that just don't seem right.
And what would they be?
Why don't you try thinking on your own first before you bother me, boy?
What? Now I've been downgraded to just boy? Edgy is just boy now. This decorative plant foliage is quite nice. It's actually soothing to be around it. So yeah, how was your day, Mafia? Did you survive your assignments? Perhaps I should purchase one for my room. Why are there plastic bags scattered all around?
Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal.
I know that much, Detective.
You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal?
Normally, I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's this guy... Evidence! Hey, Captain Chips. What's up? Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between the two men? You haven't seen her either yet, Captain Chips, but, look! It's young Franziska! Anyway, let's get examining the two bodies. Young Franny, playing Genshin again. Genshin Impact! It looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of Mr. Rel. At first glance, it seems like they must have killed each other. However,
using logic, the only logical conclusion is... Aha! What was that outburst for? My detective instincts just hit me real hard. It was Mr. Rel that fell first, see? You don't need a detective's instinct for that. It's common sense.
But I suppose we won't know much more than that until after I examine the bodies. Alright, here we go. Mr. Faraday, how ironic is it for him to lose his life in a courthouse?
Yeah, why did it have to be like this? I don't know what to say.
I can't believe this happened while I was on watch, pal. Rather than beating yourself up, you should spend your time continuing the investigation. Didn't you become a detective in order to solve crimes?
Yeah.
Then get back to work. Find out the cause of his murder.
Right, I'm on it, pal.
You didn't get the character you wanted? Aww. What character do you want? What's your desired character? First he killed a Kodopian embassy staff member, then he was murdered himself. This guy wasn't exactly an angel, you know. Oh? What makes you say that?
Well, he's been hauled into the precinct several times for theft and assault, pal. So yeah, he's definitely the type to have committed a murder or two.
Well, he did admit to killing Mr. Deedman.
Hey, good point, pal. I know my detective intuition was telling me something.
Detective's intuition?
Yep. Do you know about it? Special feeling that I'll detect...
We don't have time for this conversation right now. Let's return to the investigation. Hey, Hedgewolf is back. His name is Kazuha. Is he like a tough dude? A manly, tough dude bro person? But welcome back, Hedge. Looks like Mr. Rel died with a knife in his hand. There's some blood stuck on it.
Then he must have used this as a weapon. Yep, no doubt about it.
Was Mr. Faraday carrying this on his personage? Did he bring this as a piece of evidence for the trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should jot some notes down about it. Crazy strong? Awesome. One day, Mafia, one day, let me tell ya. Gun. Looks like Mr. Faraday died while holding the gun in his right hand. So he shot Mr. Rel and then fell on top of him while still gripping onto the gun? I guess that does seem kind of, strange, huh? I mean, why would Faraday know how to fire a gun? It's not exactly rocket science. Even I know how to pull a trigger. Although I doubt I'll ever need to use one. Hope I never have to fire a gun either, pal. But it sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hands. It appears that the police's screening procedures need a thorough review. Anyway, I should jot down some notes about the handgun in Mr. Faraday's hand. What else have we got? Why are there plastic bags scattered all around? Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal. I know that much, detective. You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal? Normally I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's this guy... Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between the two men? Yeah, guys, huh? His hand is all black down here, see? Wonder what it could be. If you look closely, the splotch-ring pattern resembles an ink stain. An ink stain? Yes, I usually get ink on my own hand when I use my feather pen. A feather pen? Never seen one before. Surely you aren't just making it up, pal? Mr. Rel's cause of death was from being shot, correct? That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down. Death is bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth. For the records, lawyers and investigators of all stripes are highly encouraged to train themselves in the use of firearms. Their jobs can be weirdly dangerous. I bet. So Edgy, maybe one day Edgy will use a gun. He technically never used one before, I don't think. He was framed once from using one. Guns are great for self-defense. They sure are. Good for, just scaring people. Get away. Are you sure they were trying to hide something? I can't confirm Mr. Rel's cause of death with his body positioned like that. Detective Bad, I'd like to examine the bodies in further detail if possible. What's this? You're not able to form a theory with them the way they are? I believe an examination of the bodies is vital to finding the perfect evidence. Don't you? I suppose you do have a point. Well, hurry up and get on with it. Labby. Yes, sir. We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir. And there you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not. What? Investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective, so don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella, turn over the bodies for me, will you? Okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir. Gumshoe, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. He's a bad cop. Yep. Tyrell, bad cop. And Dick, good cop, shoe. Alright, what have we got here? Shot in the chest. It takes some guts to fire a gun in a courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet. There aren't any burn marks on his clothes. That must mean... Wait, burn marks? A round grows very hot as it is discharged from a firearm. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. Ace Detective Dick Gumshoe, Private Investigator. Make it happen, Capcom! Come on! Ergo, Mr. Rel must have been shot from at least a yard or two away. You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal. Apparently, this detective has as much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial. Ouch. How old is Gumshoe in this story, by the way? He's only 26! Gumshoe's 26, guys, in this chapter. Oh my gosh. It looks like Mr. Faraday was stabbed with this knife that Mr. Rel is holding. Yeah, ouch! What's wrong, detective? My stomach is starting to hurt from just thinking about being stabbed. Just keep your mind on the case, alright? Alright, you've seen all of that. Hello. He still looks older than most. I know, right? He looks as old as he does now. There's a knife there's a knife wound in his chest here, see? I wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. Rel is holding. Labby. Yes, sir. Verifying that now, sir. Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce that the knife Mr. Rell is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday. Huh. Mr. Faraday is holding a gun in his right hand.
That's the one Mr. Rell got blown away by, right? Labby, your answer? Yes, sir. We found that the ballistic markings do match that gun. Ballistic markings are...
Poor guy, he doesn't age much.
Yep.
He stayed old, and then is just remaining, like, middle-aged. Maybe he'll look like that, like, 10 years from now, too. Are the figurative fingerprints a gun leaves on a bullet when fired. Every gun leaves its own unique ballistic markings. Therefore, by looking at the markings on a bullet, you can tell which gun it came from.
Yeah, that's it. Of course, I already knew all about that, pal. Maybe you'd be better off going back to the academy. Eek! Come on, sir. Cut me some slack, will ya?
So the bullet that was fired from this gun is what felled Mr. Rell. Huh.
Well, what about this pen?
There's something in his breast pocket. It's a fountain pen.
Hey, you know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bad is always telling me you should always write your name on everything you own.
Yes, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual. Let us now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Rell and fired. However, Mr. Rell managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then the two men fell together where they stood. That is my theory in any case.
What a crazy way to go.
Still, something about this explanation just doesn't seem right. I believe I now have a firmer grasp on what happened here. But we need a firmer grasp on logic! So, fountain pen in his pocket, ink stain. Yay! Excuse me. Needed a glass of water. The splotch on Mr. Faraday's hand. I wonder if it might be the ink from his fountain pen.
Oh, let's ask the lab guy. Detective Gumshoe, I confirm that the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from his fountain pen. I see. Good work.
You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life. The gun was fired from a distance, or else there would be burn marks. Oh, maybe. Maybe, Hedgewolf. Or maybe something else is at play here. Maybe the murderer is right there.
Life.
Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand. I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our case as well.
Okay, if you say so, pal.
Let me save the game real quick. I know, it was the random police officer. Can you believe that? Maybe these two? There was a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table, and yet a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during a struggle.
Hang on a second, guys.
Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. It's not likely those was during a struggle. In which case, might there have been another explanation as for how they got there?
Another reason?
I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow.
Please get that blood away from me, pal.
Detective Gumshoe, whose blood is on this bag?
Hold on, let me ask the lab guy.
Alright, please hurry.
Wait till you get a load of this, pal. It's Mr. Faraday's. Oh, and the technician said they didn't find anything else on or in the bag either.
It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence.
Okay, if you say so, I'll leave it in your hands, pal. I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other.
No, we can't conclude that quite yet. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed each other is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there's actually a contradiction that shows there is another possibility.
No way, pal. Really?
Suppose I will just have to show you the contradiction in this crime scene. I will confess, I do not know. I remember needing to look up a guide a lot when I first played this particular case. It's a good case, but a lot of it's very confusing. Yes, it's the fountain pen. Eureka! Now we've come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it's this. You believe in me? Thank you! Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed, and yet the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find that odd that the left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold the gun in his right hand? That lady and the gentleman is the great contradiction haunting this crime scene.
Yeah, you're right, pal. That doesn't seem strange. But it does seem strange, but how could something like that happen?
The facts add up to one conclusion, and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died.
Someone else?
Plastic bags scattered on the floor, and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person of vile intent who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Lots of left and right handedness in this game so far. Oh yeah. And if you think this case is confusing, wait till you see the one after this one. The final one of the first game.
Here's the autopsy report.
It is probable that Mr. Rell survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. It looks like we now know everything we need to know about this case. Are you sure we know everything? Of course. The incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant, but the defendant fought back and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. There is absolutely no margin for doubt. Do you really believe that to be true? Huh? Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you, that you don't want to believe it's true?
No.
It's alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is, don't worry. I will. And here we go. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Rell survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Rell, and Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory. And, Hold it! So you believe that the dying Mr. Rell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday? Mr. Rell became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So the two men struggled, and in the end Mr. Rell was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound. Can you really say that it's the perfect that is perfect? What are you insinuating? Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise, so if you could append that statement to your testimony. Fine. He struggled, and Mr. Rell used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday. Alright. Save the game just in case the guide is wrong. I mean, in case I'm wrong. And let's go. Yes.
Objection!
If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Ha! You place too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Rell get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right there in lobby number 2. It is not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Rell saw a chance and took it out at some point. So, what you're saying is this. Mr. Rell took a chance, and when he saw the opportunity, he took the knife from the bag, and then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed? Isn't there something strange in Franziska's statement just now? Yes, something is off. Wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, really? It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed. It's the notes.
Take that!
According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that. Oh, you got me. But of course, well then, if the report is correct, then there's only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Rell attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rell. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Franziska. I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible, before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Franziska, you've still got a ways to go. Is the music, like, too quiet, by the way, guys? Because I can barely hear the music, to be honest. I'm gonna raise the volume on my TV. Music is pretty low, can't hear it much. Man. Right. Rune Factory music is too loud. This game's music is too low. Drives me crazy. Oh, it's fine for you, Hedgewolf. So confusing. Why can't, like, every game have a volume adjuster? You know what I mean? Franziska, you've still got a ways to go. What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic? Captain Chips, would she be allowed to have that smaller whip? She's only 13, so maybe she'll get off the hook when it comes to whipping people with that thing. Mr. Faraday died instantly, and the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here is the crime scene is the order the Bodies fell. It reflects poorly on her father, certainly. Ah, gotcha. So Manfred von Karma would suffer a little bit, thanks to his, little whip-wielding daughter. Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. If Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Rell, let me know if the volume gets too loud, by the way, guys. Then, that wounded Mr. Rell found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot, and Mr. Rell died thereafter. If that's the case, how do you explain this? Take a look at this order in which their bodies are piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rell's. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have died before Mr. Faraday. Impossible! Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from.
Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene is what we solve is... No, not so fast, Miles Edgeworth. What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box. And that is even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure bounced back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rel's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. Really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. I just know that Franziska's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction. Oh, it's just a chance to Mr. Okay. No. No. Yes! What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday had two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. Rel while holding both the knife and revolver, and then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Rel grabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Rel wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, that is more than possible. Yes, it's possible, but... well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got. Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you just said in your testimony. I don't see any point to that, but as you please. The fact indicates that they attacked each other at the same time from close range. Right. It's the handgun.
Objection!
So you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as it is written in the crime scene notes, the firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. Rel's clothes. Therefore, Mr. Rel and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards. Ah! Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance. And with there being no chance of that Mr. Rel moved that far after being shot, it leaves only one possible explanation. What a completely foolish line of foolish thought from a thoroughly foolish fool. If I am not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who? The person that attacked first with murderous intent? That would be... neither man. Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here. It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. Must have been fun to just yell objection and hold on and stuff. It is. I bet it would be fun for these two. And for anyone and for the voice actors as well. And for everyone playing the game too. And set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. That third person is the real culprit. Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing. Evidence, correct? Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Can you prove that there was a third person involved in this crime? Of course. If a third person was truly here, the fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. But proof that this has all been a setup made to look like they killed each other, I'll present it and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. Hey stars! How you doing today? You're just in time for... Take that.
Take that!
See, told ya. How's your day been? It's good to see you here. The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and the plastic bag with his blood on it. These two items point to the presence of a third person. How so? Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. I am doing well, thanks. Ready for even more of this game.
I am excited to beat the everything. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground, meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment, there is a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch any blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. Then by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the two, they was able to conceal their presence. Ah!
Looks like we still got a long way to go in this investigation.
Yes.
Objection!
Huh? It's our old friend the judge! And the defense attorney.
What the heck is up with you, pal?
Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest.
What? What's the meaning of this?
Ha! Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates.
Don't you dare.
The detective claims he was there standing in front of the door the entire time, but I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie. Miss Yu, I ask that you please explain that last statement. I'll let His Honor explain it himself. Mafia, look, it's the judge! Remember the judge?
I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway.
What? See, Mr. Bad? So I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie?
Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday?
No!
Of course not, sir.
It would appear that the one who set this whole crime scene is up as that detective. It basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles.
Nah. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle.
Was that statement really a lie?
Detective Gumshoe, you're now a suspect in the murder of 2 men. Now spit out the truth or so help me.
I haven't lied to anyone, sir. Honest. I really was there. I was in the hallway the whole time. Could Gumshoe actually kill someone even if he tried? I don't think he could. He's too much of a Gumshoe to do it.
Hold it!
Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that is heading up this investigation, am I not? Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy.
All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Von Karma, after all. Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something.
And what's that?
What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? Let's ask your motive. I suppose the one thing I'd like to clarified is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime.
Motive, huh? Gumshoe, you got a grudge against Faraday or anything?
No, sir, not me, not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir.
Is that a fact?
Objection!
You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe?
I'm telling you, I am not lying.
The more unnatural you act, the more suspicious you become, you know? If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Could you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to flights of fancy, because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation. You're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice.
It's Edgeworth versus a defense attorney, guys. Who's not Phoenix Wright?
It was about a week ago. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there, super pale, as Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit!" A brand new detective suddenly getting a salary cut. That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation?
You totally misunderstand me, pal. No matter how mad I get, I could never hold a grudge. Quiet. We can't trust anything you say. Sir?
There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed per se, but there are some gaps in her logic that just need to be filled in. Miss Yu's perfect explanation may not be so perfect at all. No, 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 yes.
Hold it!
You call your explanation perfect? Is it not to your liking? Unfortunately for you, it's not up to my standards. Oh, is there something you want me to clarify in that case? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yeah! Alright, if you could clear this one thing up for me. Motive for killing Mr. L. Understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Rel? His motive for killing Rel? Like I would know. If there was no clear motive for both of the murders, then I doubt this incident would have occurred. Wouldn't you agree? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves? Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. What? But that's impossible. She must know something. Wait. Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh.
Grr, didn't even do anything and you're already laughing away.
Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway. Oh, would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation. Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight, or is that the requisite trait for being a Von Karma?
Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you shut this rude woman up.
I wish you'd both be quiet for just 1 second. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to explain it to you kids. There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rel, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity and set up to look like they had killed each other. I wonder if that's really true. Is there no one out there with a grudge against both men? I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. The second KGA incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member, and the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there something else I'm overlooking who's somehow related to them? Well, guess what? KG8 statement overview.
Objection!
Miss Yu, I believe there is someone you overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We are looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. I can think of at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect of the original KG8 incident, and a member of the Kodopian embassy staff, Mr. Manny Cochin. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Kodopian embassy staff, Mr. Rel, and the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KG8 incident, Mr. Faraday. You're telling me that Mr. Cochin had no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, I suppose he might have a reason or two.
You covered for me, pal.
Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect, make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony, these are the only things I wish to hold.
But I didn't do it.
You will stay under my authority, and go investigate Mr. Manny Cochin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out.
You want to investigate Cochin? You'd just be wasting your time.
And why is that?
Cochin was up in the viewing gallery watching the trial, or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived.
Then the only real suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe. Suppose so.
No way. Come on, Detective Bad. You gotta believe me, sir. I really was in that hallway the whole time, sir. Never took a single step into this room, sir. Okay, then are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway? No, there was no one else, sir. Then why should I believe you didn't do it?
There is one incredibly foolish detective, standing right in front of a crime scene all by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt. I have to admit, it's a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wanted to prove that he is innocent, you'd think he would at least offer up a nice spaced out while on duty or the like.
Come on, Gumshoe. Time for your interrogation. Detective Bad.
No, he's being arrested. This is wrong. Miles Edgeworth, I will go on ahead and report this to Papa.
And that, as they say, is that. Right, everyone? Ho, ho, ho.
Well, I suppose we should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh? Before we do, Miss Yu, there is something I'd like to speak with you about. What is it?
Look at this laughy pants here.
So, what did you want to ask me about? The current case of the murdered Kodopian embassy staff member, I've heard that people have begun calling it the second KGA incident. Only among you law enforcement types. And what about it? I'd like for you to tell me everything you know about the original KGA incident. I'm afraid I can't help you. I don't know anything beyond what was reported in the papers. No, I believe you know much more, since you are directly tied to the KGA incident. I'd appreciate it if you would stop with the false accusations. Baseless outbursts are useless, but to both inside and outside the courtroom, don't you know? I do, but I also know that I do have a leg to stand on here. Think you can stop making that ultra-serious face in front of me?
Grr. If you could please stop laughing for just 1 second.
I'm not going to make any headway like this. I'm just going to have to show her exactly how related to the KGA incident she is.
Okay. Take a look at this.
Miss Yu, I believe that I have proof of your connection to the KGA incident. That file is your proof? Very well then. Why don't you tell me exactly how I'm related to the KGA incident? Through... The victim. Your connection to the KGA incident is through the victim. The victim's name is CCU. You will note that she has the same last name as you. Can you really still tell me with a straight face that you are not related to this case? Sorry, but we're not related.
What?
Just kidding. You asked that question with such a serious look on your face that I couldn't help but...
Miss Yu, I ask that you please tell me the truth.
Ahem. Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. As you guessed, the one who reported the smuggling activities of the Amano group was my sister, CCU, as I thought. And she was killed right before she was to testify at the impending trial by Manny Cochin. But because he was tried once and was acquitted, he gets to live out the rest of his cushy life completely carefree. All because of a lack of evidence. No, I heard that the evidence to convict him did exist.
What?
I heard it from Mr. Faraday himself after Mr. Cochin's trial was over. Apparently a man in black made off with the most important piece of evidence. Then the evidence had been tampered with? Isn't it just like a criminal to do something like that? A smuggling ring being run out by the Amano group by one of its secretaries. They bailed Mr. Cochin out. Turns out they were in league with each other all along. How big was that smuggling ring? Was it a large operation? I don't really know. Which is why I wanted to become the lead defense on this case that people are calling the second KG8 incident. But I haven't learned anything new at all. I was probably expecting too much, I know. You mean you think this case has nothing to do with the smuggling ring? I don't know what to think. Why did Mr. Cochin want to meet you earlier? Actually, he came to watch the trial. Apparently, he only found out that I was the defense lawyer on this case after he'd arrived. He figured he could say hi, and one other thing. Looks like you couldn't resolve anything this time either. Too bad. What's that supposed to mean? Oh boy, stop it with that scary face already. I'm fine, really. I gave him a good slap across the cheek. The way she talks about slapping him as she laughs away is kind of creepy. Would she get in trouble for slapping him, by the way? I mean, yeah, assault, but she's also a defense attorney. I don't know. Excuse me. Yes, she would. Everyone's getting away with everything in these games, guys. Just always. Always and forever. Ahem. But it's just as Mr. Bat said. He's not related to the double murder. Asked around and people in the gallery claim that he was in his seat the entire time. But is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth doing the, getting her in trouble? Or just slapping people's? Talk about a cruel fate. Well, this is about all I know. Haha, sorry. Guess I wasn't much help, huh? That's not true. I'm sorry I made you recall such a painful time in your life. Edgeworth, you really are too serious for your own good. You really need to learn to relax. We wouldn't want you to die of stress, would we? Thank you for the advice, but there's no need to worry. I work in my own way, and I will catch this criminal in my own way as well. You'll see. Look at you with your game face on, ready to go. I'm making no such face. Did you know? Laughter's the best medicine, Edgeworth. Don't you get tired of making such a serious face all the time? I'm charged with making sure that all the criminals of this world are found guilty. I have no need for laughter. There you go, making that face again. Oh well. I've got to get going. I still have a few loose ends I need to tie up. What do you think of this lady, guys? She laughs like crazy. The KG8 incident and this murder investigation. It's my belief that these two cases are related to each other somehow. Give me a second. Okay, related to each other somehow. Plus that detective, Detective Gumshoe. It's obvious he's lying, even though the lie is hurting his chances. Clearly, the case is far from over. But whether or not the detective is the murderer can only be determined once I've completed my perfect investigation. Mr. Von Karma, I swear to uphold your honorable name, or my name isn't Miles Edgeworth. Ooh, the lady is weird. Yeah, like many people in this game, this lady be weird. Did you know it's Friday the 13th, by the way, guys? It's bad luck nightmare day or whatever. Or just bad luck day. I don't know. Sir, what is to become of the trial into the Cadopian Embassy staff member's murder? Indeed, since both the suspect and the prosecutor are now dead, the case will be dismissed. In other words, the trial ends here prematurely. Seems cool. Yeah, a little bit cool. It's pretty awesome. Ha! Looks like you'll have to wait just a bit longer for your big debut. I suppose it can't be helped. The evidence for this trial will be transferred to you in a little while. Sir, what do you think about the murder of the Cadopian Embassy staff member, and the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell?
What an outrageous circus it has all become. The Faraday brought it all upon himself with this naivete. An outrageous circus? Right, sir. I grow weary of this topic. Edgeworth, I will have you assigned to a different case.
Papa, you'll come and watch my courtroom debut next, won't you?
I'll consider it.
Sir, if I may, please allow me to continue with my investigation.
Whatever for.
I know that there is already a suspect in the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. However, there is not enough evidence to prove that he was the one who committed the crime. I'd like to continue investigating in order to find the perfect proof of his guilt.
The perfect proof? Don't make me laugh. A worthless person like you has no right to claim such a thing as perfection.
Papa? Who do you think is the real culprit behind these murders? Miles and I, we're competing to see who can find the real killer first. Plus, being able to investigate a real crime scene is a really rare opportunity. It would give us some real-life experience, wouldn't you agree?
If you want to investigate this case that much, then do as you wish.
Then, you're allowing us to continue?
In court, your top priority is to win, and a solid investigation is one of the keys to winning. We have to make sure you become recognized as a first-rate prosecutor, don't we? It wouldn't be very interesting otherwise. I'm returning home now. Edgeworth, Franziska, see to it I'm not disturbed, and safe for the rest of your competition.
Yes, sir. Of course, Papa. Franziska, thank you. What are you thanking me for? Your logic earlier was built on that scruffy detective's lie. That means that the competition is still on.
Yes, just as you wished.
I couldn't let you get off so easily. Now then, let's see how well you fare on the investigation from here in Miles Edgeworth. Now, I don't have enough information yet, so my first order of business will be to question anyone involved with this case. Let's talk to this guy. I can't stop the water, sir! Seems that the man who was here earlier broke it by drinking from it too much. Bunch of fools who pretended not to see the foolishly foolish actions of a foolish fool. Well then, why don't you lend the officer a hand? As if I should have anything to do with this. Besides, that water-drinking fool's mouth is the thing that officer should be covering. Let's give that officer a description of the water guzzler later. She seems to have quite the grudge. It sounds to me like someone wanted a drink.
And what do you have to say, sleepy cop? Sir, nothing to report, sir.
Is there no one who will make this man take responsibility for his actions on the job? Looks like we have no choice but to report this to Papa. Then this guard can have fun in a waking nightmare after being awakened from his dream. Actually, let's not. I kinda feel sorry for him now.
Whoa.
This room is a little bit laggy, I'm noticing. Miss Yu. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. And who are you? Wait, you were at the crime scene just now, weren't you? You should be disbarred for not knowing who I am. I am Franziska von Karma, and I'm about to become the successor to the family name. About to? Guess that means that for now you're still just another kid. In which case, it's only natural that I didn't know who you are. What? Why are you whipping me? Anyway, looks like they're planning to hold the evidence a bit longer. There's one thing I can't stand, it's waiting. I'm terribly sorry, but I have a few more questions to ask of you. Look at you, eyebrows scrunched with lines on your forehead, and that to ask of you. What exactly is so funny? Oh, sorry, I'm just bad at dealing with a super serious atmosphere. Apparently they failed to teach you proper behavior at a crime scene in law school. Ahoo! I feel much better now, so what is it you want to talk about? I'd like to inquire as to where you were at the time of the murder. We were in defendant lobby number 1 the whole time, up until we heard the gunshot. And by we, I mean Mr. Bad. If you don't believe me, feel free to ask him yourself. You were with Detective Bad? Why? We had a little something to discuss, that's all. Well, I take it you are acquaintances with Detective Bad. Yeah, he was a detective in charge of the KGA incident. Detective Bad is also related to that incident? That's right. He was the one who was supposed to protect my sister Cece. But you know how that turned out, don't you, Edgeworth?
Miles Edgeworth, I have no idea what you two are talking about. I've heard of the KG-8 incidents from my papa. But how does that case relate to you, Miss Yu? The victim of that case, CCU, was my little sister. You're making that super serious face again. I'm fine, really. I just make it a point to rub some more salt in his wounded pride every time I see him. The way she talks about doing that as she laughs away is kind of creepy. Oh, speaking of Mr. Bad, he and Mr. Faraday, I'd say they met up just about every single time the Yatagarasu made a move. It was practically a given that the two would meet up at every one of the crime scenes. I see. He did mention that he is in charge of the Yatagarasu investigation earlier. Maybe I should ask her what she knows about the Yatagarasu in more detail. You claimed that at the time of the murder you were with Detective Bad, but don't you lawyers usually discuss the trial with your clients during the recess? We do, and that's what I was planning to do, but Mr. Faraday was being rather threatening and he dragged Mr. Rell away. After that, Mr. Bad came into lobby number 1, so we just stayed there and talked. And what did you talk with Detective Bad about? Nothing interesting. I just insulted him some. Talked about how the trial was going, and then I insulted him some more. Bloody, why is she not laughing? Her mouth seemingly spews nothing but insults. Anyway, Mr. Bad and I were in defendant lobby number 1 when the murders occurred. But I really can't tell you anything about the hallway or lobby number 2. I see. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your client, Mr. Mackerel. Now, your client first claimed to be the Yatagarasu, is that correct? Yeah. Once I heard that it was the Yatagarasu that made off with the evidence from KG-8, I began to ask Mr. Rell all sorts of questions, but to no avail. Turns out Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu, he just had made that up. He made it up? Mr. Rell's crime was caught on tape by the security cameras, but there is no footage of him sneaking into the Kodopian embassy itself. Hold on for just 1 second. Then, you mean to say that you knew that he was not the real Yatagarasu? And that he was just another cold-blooded killer, and you were ready to defend him? Yes, that's right. I see. So a defense lawyer is actually just someone whose job is to cover for criminals. That's why defense lawyers are so detestable, but they are no match for us Von Karmas. Is she crazy? Miss Yu? Yeah, maybe. She did lose her sister, so maybe that made her kinda crazy. I don't believe it. You're serious. Why don't you save that face for something really worth being serious about? And Edgeworth, do you remember what I said earlier? I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding to the KG-8 incident, alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer? Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rell was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. I'm sorry, forgive my rashness. Tell me about the Yatagarasu. Miss Yu, I was wondering if you could tell me about the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu, huh? I don't really know much about that character myself, but I do get a lot of consultation requests from companies to defend him. Requests from companies? The Yatagarasu isn't some petty thief out for money, you know. Alright, then. Perhaps the Yatagarasu is in the business of stealing people's lives? You're not very funny or witty, are you, little Miss Von Karma? Grrr. Franziska, be careful about who you whip. Choose carefully, or we may be sued by... Meow! There, I chose carefully, just like you wanted. That just now was hilarious, little missy. Of course it was. What is wrong with these two women? Why does my pain give them delight? And so in the end, what is the Yatagarasu? I have to say I have never heard of this thief when I was in Germany. The Yatagarasu deals in information, mainly in digging out dirt about backroom dealings, like the like of companies. Poor Edgeworth, I know. What did he deserve? Why did he deserve being whipped? The Yatagarasu is a vigilante who steals such info and then makes it public for all to see. Vigilante or not, this person sounds like another criminal to me. Suppose you could put it that way too, but either way, I get a lot more clients now thanks to that thief. Sounds like Miss Yu was
profiting nicely. Suppose I've gotten all I can out of Miss Yu. Just move on and speak with Detective Gumshoe now. Apparently I can enter this store. Wow. I'm at the judge's bench, guys. This must be the judge's desk. You can tell by the gavel sitting on top. I had a dream once that I was being squashed from above by this gavel. You're such a weakling, Miles Edgeworth. You have no idea how frightening that was. Yo, I'm the prosecutor. Never mind. It's the defense attorney's bench. I'd probably be standing on this side of the courtroom if that incident hadn't happened. What are you thinking about? Lately, the more wrinkly your face becomes, the less I'm able to read what you're thinking. Well, I never. I'll have you know I don't need to have a single wrinkle above my youthful brow. Alright. Let's, This is such a great angle on the scenes we've seen so many times. I know. I'm glad that this scene exists. Witness goes here, prosecutor, whatever these are. The chambers or the audience places up there. So I am fan. Alright. Hey, Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe. Hey, it's you, pal. You're here. Ouch. As am I. I don't think you needed to whip him to let him know that. I didn't do it, pal. I swear on my honor as a detective. I really didn't. Your words are useless. I place my trust only in the evidence, detective. Once the investigation is fully over, and should we find out that you are the killer, there will be no mercy to be had for you. Have a heart, pal. But you are not worried, right? After all, you have nothing to worry about if you really are innocent, that is. That's right. Hey, pal, go and do your perfect investigation and get the real killer for me, will ya? I would have done so even if you had not requested me to, detective. So you and Mr. Faraday had a small meeting last week, did you? And what exactly did you do to make him so angry? Just at Detective Bad, the same thing myself, pal. Turns out he was mad at me because of my very first day as a detective. I reported it at my usual post instead of the Criminal Affairs Department. By the time I got down to Criminal Affairs, I was really late. And that was when he gave me that huge speech. I remember doing the same thing in elementary school. On the first day of school every year, I'd always wind up going to my own classroom, old classroom. How pathetic for the detective to be comparable to a mere schoolchild. Ouch. You claim to be standing guard in front of the door to lobby number 2 during the recess. However, when did you receive the order to do so, and from whom? Earlier, around 3:20, and from Detective Bad, pal. Today's trial took a really crazy turn, so I was told to make sure nothing happened to Mr. Faraday. And yet something did happen to him, correct? It looks like it was a total waste of manpower to assign you to guard duty. Ow! Your words sting worse than your whip, pal. So it was Detective Bad who ordered him to stand guard, huh? What's the next step? Well then, Detective Gumshoe, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? Nope, not a thing, pal. In that case, allow us to take a look at what you are carrying on your personage. Ah, wait, you can't do that. There's nothing of any particular value here. Well, my handcuffs and badge were confiscated by Detective Bad, so, you know. And what is that open envelope I see sticking out of your coat pocket? Ah, hands off, pal. Just show it to us already. Yow! Annual bonus check within $5 total, except there's no check inside. You had your luck, now give it back, pal. It's my first bonus as a brand new detective. Is that considered low? $5 as a bonus for a detective? I just got it and cashed it today. I had literally no cash on me up until now, you know? That envelope is really special to me. I'll give it back. You don't need rubbish like this. Don't worry. We'll throw it away for you later. How could you? Excuse me. I'm sorry, but I need to take him in for questioning now. I think I've asked him just about everything I needed to.
No, wait. Oops. Since I became a suspect, there is one piece of evidence I should reconfirm. Officer, I ask that you wait a second. Still have one thing I'd like to reconfirm with Detective Gumshoe. Understood, but please make it brief, sir. That's just kinda sad. A little bit. Hear it from the horse's mouth. Must confirm whether or not his testimony about what the crime occurred is the truth. Yo, so, your testimony. Depends on the year during the Civil War. That's a lot. Anytime in the last 100 years. Calling that a bonus is stretching the definition a bit. And this definitely took place in the last 100 years. If not the last 50 years. You told me earlier that you heard no sound other than the gunshot out in the hallway. Is that correct? No mistake about it, pal. Then you are also claiming, that no one passed through the hallway either. Is that also correct? Yep, not even a single ant passed through that hall when I was on duty. Did you realize that the lie you're telling is only making life more difficult for yourself? Huh? Oh, but it's true. I didn't see anyone go through the hallway and I didn't hear anything else, pal. I bet the killer found a way to kill those two guys that's beyond what I can imagine. So he intends to continue telling this ridiculous lie, but why would he do so given the situation he's in? I believe a thorough investigation of the hallway is in front of the defendant's lobby is in order. Huh? Who's that? Back, you? No! Rasp. How could you have not noticed that coming? No. Wasn't that the child that I changed money for earlier?
Thanks! That's exactly what I needed.
Kids can sometimes be so cruel.
It looks like she dropped something.
Swiss roll data jotted into the organizer. Courthouse special. Maybe we should arrest the girl. She might turn out to be a valuable lead.
I believe some sort of punishment may need to be dealt with next time we meet.
I believe that's all. I believe I've asked all that I need to of this man. Now for Detective Baden, the judge. We have to confirm who is correct, the judge or that scruff face, right? Suppose we should inspect the hallway in front of lobby number 2 next, then?
Suppose so.
Shall we head on over, Franziska?
Okay. So, did you see anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I see. Well, thanks for your cooperation.
Oh, it's nothing. Just doing my duty as the defender of the law.
That'll be all for now. I'll ask again if I have any other questions.
Anytime, Detective. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few loose ends I have to tie up. Oh, you're that new prosecutor Mr. Von Karma recommended, right?
My name is Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor. And I'm Manfred Von Karma's daughter, Franziska Von Karma. I'm set to become the successor to my genius father any day now, Your Honor.
I see, Mr. New Prosecutor, recommended by Von Karma, and I bit my tongue.
Are you alright, Your Honor? Please feel free to refer to me as just Miss Von Karma, Your Honor. As for him, just Edgeworth is fine. Apparently somebody doesn't feel that I'm worthy of a proper title.
Oh-ho! Very well then, I shall call you Miss Von Karma and Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Your Honor, Mr. Edgeworth is fine, sir. Now about your earlier testimony.
Yes, what about it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I would like to ask you a few questions about what exactly you saw.
All right, after all, it's my duty to clarify my testimony as a defender of the law.
I greatly appreciate your cooperation, Your Honor. Now, the first thing I will need to do is figure out that detective's exact movements. We're actually, like, talking to the judge. Wow. Your Honor, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Where were you at the time of the murder?
Do you suspect me of something?
No, nothing of the sort, Your Honor.
But very well. You may continue with your testimony.
Your Honor, it's your testimony I'm after.
Oh, I had no idea you were chasing after me or my testimony.
I'm beginning to sense that I might want to avoid being in a trial run by this judge. Oh, what a silly line that is.
Let's see here. Now then, how should I put this? When you get to be my age, you need to pay more frequent visits to the restroom. If you go take a look through the window at the end of the hall, you'll see a small window. That is the window for the men's restroom. In other words, you can clearly see into this hallway from the men's restroom. When I was going into the restroom, that detective, Gumshoe, is it? Well, he was standing in front of the vending machines buying something from it. However, and this I couldn't believe, when I was about to exit the restroom, there was not a soul in the hallway anymore.
Your Honor, if you could please calm down and explain it to me rationally.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Please let me regain my composure. It was really suspicious. That's what my finely honed judge's intuition said. Although, well, until the murders occurred, I just sort of brushed it off.
Ho ho ho. Apparently this judge doesn't understand the concept of staying calm. That's probably all I'm going to find out from His Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth, may I return to my other duties now?
Yes, I'm sorry to have held you up. Thank you for your cooperation, Your Honor.
Ho ho ho. Anytime, Mr. Edgeworth, anytime.
The judges in this country seem rather friendly. Yes, if not a little wishy-washy. However, I hear that they are known to hand down very fair verdicts.
As for you...
Detective Bad, I have something I wish to inquire about. Hey, how about doing some actual work, you? I wish to inquire into Detective Gumshoe's movements during the recess.
You're getting in the way of the investigation.
I have an order from Mr. Von Karma himself, plus I still hold investigative authority.
Tch.
So I heard you were the one who called for Detective Gumshoe to come down here.
Faraday, that guy was just accused, you know. I just knew something was gonna happen. My detective instinct told me.
A lot of good it did you. You couldn't even protect one lone prosecutor with it.
Hold it!
Franziska, I think you need to apologize.
Arg, I'm sorry.
I'm terribly sorry, Detective Bad. Please continue.
I used the phone on the first floor and called the precinct. I told them to send somebody over, and then that detective's not the one that showed up.
And only upon his arrival did you set Detective Gumshoe to stand guard, Detective Bad.
Yeah, I waited for him on the first floor. After he got here, we came up to these defendant lobbies together. As we entered this hallway, we ran into you. She told us that Faraday was really mad, and that he dragged Rel off to the lobby number 2 to have a word or something, and that Faraday had said to not let anyone interrupt them. So, what choice did I have? All I could do was tell the big lug to stand guard outside.
Is he allowed to be smoking here, or is that a lollipop? That might be a lollipop? I'm not sure. Hey, stick your cigarette out, mister. And around what time did all of that take place?
Let's see, I think it was about 30 minutes before I heard the gunshot. After giving the big lug his assignment, he never left the hallway, not once.
Oh, and how can you make such a claim?
One of the guards out in this floor's main lobby swore to me he didn't.
If the detective never left the hallway, then where did he disappear off to? It's simple. He must have gone into lobby number 2, just as I suspected. It's neither you knuckleheads, he's a cowboy stereotype, it's a pick.
Oh, could be a pick too.
You and I,
we were in lobby number 1 next door. The only one without an alibi is Gumshoe.
It would seem that I am still missing some key pieces of information.
That explains it, thanks.
Could be anything. Detective Bad, you also heard the gunshot, did you not?
Yeah, I heard it when I was in defendant lobby number 1.
Wasn't there someone with a lollipop in one of these cases? See, I'm remembering that now. On good night, Mafia. I'll see you tomorrow for some salty Splatoon 3 and Among Us. Shoot, there was, but you don't recall who.
I don't remember who either. Oh, it's gonna beat me up now. That's why I came running toward lobby number 2 together with you.
How much time elapsed between you hearing the gunshot and your arrival on the scene?
Less than a minute.
What were your movements upon hearing the gunshot?
I grabbed the big lug who was just walking around in the hall and raced into lobby number 2. And that's when we discovered the bodies, in that order.
That makes you the discoverer of the crime scene, right?
Yeah, I guess it does, little miss.
I'm about to become a prosecutor very soon. You will treat me with the dignity I deserve, or else.
You wave that thing around anymore, and I'll have you arrested for obstruction, little miss.
You wouldn't dare. Haha.
Just joking. Get there.
Detective Bad is really something if he can make Franziska behave.
Are we about done? Is there anything else I should ask?
Is there anything else I should ask him about? Uh-oh. Anything else? About the time. I'd like for you to tell me the exact time you heard the gunshot.
It was around the end of the recess, and the trial was about to start again, I think. He was about to make time for himself to transfer the evidence he was holding, but I got the sense he wasn't gonna show for the handoff. So I figured I should go get him, or he'd be late. And just as I thought that, bang! The sound of a gunshot hit my eardrums.
So he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to restart, huh?
Are we done here? I don't have any time to waste.
Oh, come on. All you're doing is standing in front of the door, doing nothing. I get the sense that he is somewhat investigating this crime scene, or rather, that he is keeping us under surveillance. But to what end? Detective Bad, may I ask that you cooperate with us for just a little bit longer?
I don't have anything else to say to the two of you. You guys were the ones who said you wanted to investigate in the first place.
Fine then, be obstinate. We'll just do as we please. Come on, Miles. You may no longer be willing to help us, however. May I ask for the forensic scientist's cooperation?
Do as you like.
I guess that's it for now. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious piece of evidence of nook and cranny. So that window on the other side belongs to the men's restroom. I can't see it. At your height, I'm not surprised.
No.
I guess short people have feelings too. That's racist? The ants are hurt that we're carrying their food home. It's a marvel that they can pick up such comparatively large objects to their size. Well, if you want to carry the mighty Von Karma name and not be squished under it, you better work extra hard, just like these ants. The same goes for you, Franziska. So, quick question, guys. Would the ants be in trouble for just barging into a courtroom? Would they be arrested or get some kind of punishment? What is this? It's a pink-colored piece of trash made of rubber. I feel like I've seen something like this before. Well, all I see is a piece of garbage. But you know, the fact that there is a litterer running loose inside this courthouse. They'd be murdered indiscriminately because they're ants. What? But that's murder. Who would the person who murdered them be a murderer? Anyway, it's simply unforgivable. Ack. It's not like it was I who littered. Rubbish belongs in a rubbish bin. Gag. Hey, a cactus. Ant bites hurt, they deserve it. Oh, ant bites hurt. Ant bites can sting a bit. Urgh. What's the matter? I pricked myself on one of these cactus's needles. I didn't think the needles on this thing would be so sharp. Well, what did you expect?
Can you imagine how bad it would be if you were hit on the head by one of these? Anyway, this cactus seems to be unrelated to our case. Do you really think so? Because I believe this cactus sitting on this windowsill is completely related. I look forward to your explanation and how exactly it is related. Let's go down here. Here's the bench. The dirt on this bench, it smells like some sort of sweet substance. I can't believe there's someone going around dirtying the courthouse. For shame. Calm down, Franziska. Now take a good look. Doesn't this smudge look kind of like a handprint to you? I suppose it could be. Which means that perhaps we can lift the prints of the person who sullied this bench. I see, and then we'll know the identity of our mystery slob. You there, the lab technician. Could you please find out who this handprint belongs to? Sir, yes, sir. I got the results of the fingerprints analysis, sir. And, do we know who they belong to? Sir, the fingerprints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Oh, interesting. Good work, officer. Well, is Gumshoe gonna be arrested now? When they cover a large area? Oh yeah. I've had my problems with ants in the past. Definitely for sure. And there you have it. Yes, I suppose so. Now we know the identity of the person who dirtied the bench. Sense that you and I will be using this information in a very different ways. What about this? What are these black specks? I believe it's a pile of ants eating away. Oh, that detective, he claims that not a single ant slipped by him. And yet, there's a whole hill of them. Gak, what are you hitting me for? As a replacement for that pathetic detective. Perhaps I should add this deduction to the detective's growing tab of pay cuts. Anyway, I wonder what the ants are eating. From the look and smell of it, pieces of a cake and chocolate from a Swiss roll. Miles Edgeworth, the courtroom is to be kept pristine at all times. No, it wasn't me that dropped food on the ground. The courthouse must be kept clean. No. Ants are pouring out of the hole in this bench as well. I wonder if the inside of this bench consists of nothing but ants. Don't you dare continue with that gross line of thought. Herc, I'm sorry. Oh god, that would be terrifying. Ugh. What about, this thing? It would appear that this vending machine sells snacks and various other foods. Just lovely. What will they think of next? Don't be a jerk in court like these beef jerks. One packet for $9. Defendant's fresh milk. 1/2 pint for $7. Stay neutral as the Swiss and do until the end with these for $6. They're awfully overpriced. The lineup is simply awful, period. Speaking of snacks, I wonder if that Swiss roll the little girl dropped is from this machine. I was wondering about that myself. Okay, how bad are these prices, guys? Mega, super, ultra, really bad? Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. The end of what? Well, I assume it means the end of the trial. Suppose that this means that one should eat these during a recess? You can't eat during a trial, so I suppose the only time you can eat them is now, huh? The truth is going to have a terrible bruise after this. Oh yeah. Everyone in this game always has bruises. After meeting Franziska. They come in packs of 2 after all. We're in no middle school. We're in the middle of an investigation. Besides, I don't have $6 on me. If you want, we can pull our money and buy a pack together. I'd like to split it with you, and then I don't want it. Oh dear. I think, we can do a thing now. Yes, I think we have a bunch. So, vending machine, Swiss roll crumbs. Maybe these go together. These bits of chocolate and cake, could they have not come from a Swiss roll? A Swiss roll? Why would the courthouse sell a thing like this? It may not seem like the right venue, however, it is being sold right over there. The vending machine. Ah, I see. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. 2 for 6? Talk about expensive. Leaving the fact that it's on the expensive side aside, the fact that this cake crumbs and chocolate bits were found in this hallway suggests that they came from a Swiss roll that was purchased from this machine. I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened here now. Naturally. After all, I'm here, aren't I? Detective Gumshoe must have sat on this bench as he ate a Swiss roll. And as he ate, he dropped it on the floor and sullied the bench. How could he have not cleaned up after himself? How utterly despicable. Don't you dare whip me again. It wasn't I who made the mess in the first place. Anyway, if it was indeed Detective Gumshoe who'd brought the Swiss roll, then that creates a rather interesting contradiction of facts. A contradiction? Where? I think another look at this special courthouse vending machine is in order. I actually do know what it is this time. Here's the Swiss rolls. It has to do with the Swiss rolls. Everyone in chat, what was Detective Gumshoe's bonus again? Yeah, exactly. $5. So, how? Eureka! About Detective Gumshoe's finances, he said that until this morning... 5, 6, exactly. He didn't have even a single penny on his personage. Just how poor is that guy? If his bonus really was only 5, then he should not have been able to purchase a pack of Swiss rolls. However, facts being as they are, we found cake crumbs on the floor. Meaning Scruffy must have bought a pack somehow. Indeed, that detective should not have been able to purchase a pack, yet he did. The question is, how? Yeah, how, guys? How did he do this? Let's save the game again. Just in case there's another logic. And I think there is, involving the windowsill cactus and this pink piece of trash. This pink rubbery substance, I saw this in a different form earlier today. I believe this is a piece of a popped balloon. I suppose that's possible. The balloon probably got a little too close to our friend, the windowsill cactus. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. Yay! I believe I now have a very firm grasp on what happened here. Arrgh, well, I do too. Alright, Francisco, would you care to share what conclusions you come to? Well, why should I do that? We're still in the middle of a competition. You know? We should be checking to see if your conclusions are wrong first, so you go ahead. It's almost cute that she's going this far to ensure that she wins. Almost. Very well, but first we need to pay His Honor a visit to correct his testimony. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to test your witness testimony and see how it stands up. Do you doubt me? Am I your new suspect? In a sense, I suppose you could say that. Even you, a judge, are now nothing but a common witness before a Von Karma. Would she be in trouble for saying that? Silence in the courtroom. Silence, I say. Mr. New Prosecutor, recommended by Manfred Von Karma and Mr. Von Karma. You bit your tongue again, didn't you? Ahem. As the defender of the law, I could never give false testimony. You can even place me under oath if you want. Very well then. Your testimony, if you please. We are cross-examining the judge, guys. Did you ever expect something like this? Ever? During the recess, I went to the restroom. There is a window on the hallway side. In other words, I could see into the hallway. As I entered, I saw the detective buying something from the vending machines. But when I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. Detective that goes missing while on duty? That sounds mighty suspicious to me. Your Honor, can you please try to remain calm? Oh. I'm so used to simply listening to testimonies that I got caught up in the excitement. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spoil your fun now. The restroom. We're on the hallway side, and the hallway. And I saw that they're buying something from the vending machines. When I saw the exit of the restroom, he had completely disappeared. Yeah.
Objection!
What was that finger wag for, Mr. Edgeworth? And don't you know it's rude to shout objection while someone is giving testimony? Huh. If you truly are a man of the law, then you must also always be vigilant. For example, I never let an opportunity to shout objection pass me by. Miles Edgeworth, it's one thing to be passionate about your job, but this isn't real life. This is what some people may say is the pot calling the kettle black. Your Honor, I wonder if you might take a look at this for me. What is that filth? How dare someone dirty the hallway bench like that? Who is the culprit? This party is hereby found guilty of uncleanliness. If you must know, the uncouth bench sullier has already been placed under arrest thanks to your earlier testimony, Your Honor. Oh, well, that's good, but who was it? We were able to discover something from that smudge on the bench, namely Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints. Not happy with just committing murder, he had to go and dirty the courthouse too? Guilty! Your Honor, please calm down. While it's true that the detective is the one who made the mess on the bench, we have not yet established that this action is related to the double murder. What do you mean? I believe that the detective brought a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine, and then promptly sat down on the bench to eat one. The cake crumbs and pieces of chocolate on the floor under the bench, and Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints prove my conclusions to be true. Oh, but I still don't understand. Is this whole thing related to how I couldn't see him as I was leaving this restroom? Heh, it is indeed. The window in the hallway was built rather high up into the wall, and then around a grown adult's chest height. As evidence, I submit that Franziska herself was unable to see out of that window. No! I knew I shouldn't have used her height as evidence. But basically, what this means is that the area directly under the hallway window is a blind spot where the hallway is being viewed from the men's restroom. But then, it seems that you have made the connection. If someone were to sit on the bench under the window, yes, even someone as large as Detective Gumshoe would effectively disappear from sight. What? So you finally see, Your Honor. Your testimony has just proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time. Sorry. I didn't mean to say it with that much enthusiasm. All I wanted to do was try saying it once. Here, let me try that again. Hold it. Is there something of value that you'd like to say? Yes, actually there is. I remembered something else just now. Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to testify to the court one more time. Even if we overruled him, he just keeps on talking, wouldn't he? Hedgecat says meow to your epic gaming. I'm glad that you like my epic gaming. True that I'm using a guide to do it. I'm glad that your kitty cat loves it. Has your cat figured out who the murderer is yet? The real murderer? I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail. As I was leaving for the restroom, I heard the loud bang of a gunshot. Grr. How was that? That is the testimony of one who judges the crimes of others. Your Honor, could you try to state the important facts first next time? I agree. Before you go around judging others, you should learn to judge your own words. Eek! I'm sorry. But honestly, I thought the sound was just a noise popper until just now. Now that he mentions it, right before we restarted the trial, he did talk about that. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson. The most critical point in this argument is when did the judge look into the hallway. I think she's too busy murdering her stuffed fish to figure it out. Oh no, there's another crime going on at your place, Hedgewolf. Oh dear. Better, get witness testimonies and set up the parameter. And what if it lines up with when the gun was actually fired? Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to clarify a few details in your testimony. I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean the detective wasn't sitting there when I looked.
Hold it!
Hold it! As we established, you went into the restroom during the recess. However, at what point in the recess did you look into the hallway? After I called for a recess, I handled the change of prosecutor paperwork. Maybe about 20 minutes until we reconvened? Yes, that sounds about right. Just as I expected. What were you expecting? And I demand to know what that all-knowing smile is for. Your Honor, that statement you made just now is very important. I'd like for you to append it to your testimony. Alright, if you insist. Let's see, I looked into that hallway about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene. I'm gonna present this.
Objection!
Your Honor, I cannot allow you to make an objection. What? Your Honor, I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to not allow me to make an objection. Egads, I've been overruled? Your Honor, there are simply too many holes in your testimony for my taste. What do you mean by that? You claim that you heard the gunshot during the recess, but that is simply not possible. Mr. New Prosecutor, recommended by Manfred von Eck. Instead of biting your tongue, why don't you bite your... Eek! Okay, she just whipped the judge. She is a kid still, but would she be in trouble? He can't allow you to not allow me? Yep. I love the dialogue in this game. Writing is still beautiful. I see you have no mercy for the elderly either, Franziska. Definitely in trouble. Don't talk back to me unless you want to be whipped in the back. Von Karma would definitely be in trouble for that. Both of them. Oh, the dad would too. Manfred would be in trouble. Oh, damn. With your height, you'd need a stepladder or 4 to accomplish that. Ahem, Mr. Edgeworth. My ears are not that far gone yet, I'll have you know. I can still hear you just fine. And I heard that sound of a gunshot loud and clear with my own 2 ears. Huh. Your Honor, I have here an interesting bit of a testimony. It's from Detective Bad. And according to him, he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to start. What did you just say? Your Honor, you just said that you heard the gunshot about 20 minutes before that we were to reconvene. How do you explain this glaring contradiction? That can't be. Unfortunately, that is the truth. But I heard it clear as day. Bang! The loud sound of a gunshot. The sound of the gunshot. We keep returning to this point of contention, and that piece of evidence. I always did wonder why I found it where I did. However, now I understand what that gunshot the judge really heard was. Fortunately, Your Honor, this is what really produced the gunshot you heard. It's the plastic!
Take that!
The rubber, rather. I found this object in the hallway earlier. What is that pink substance? It may not look it, but this is actually a piece of a balloon. I see. And I suppose you would like me to accept that pink balloon into the court record? Your Honor, I present this piece of evidence in order to overrule your testimony. What? Your Honor, your argument goes as follows. You saw no one in the hallway when you heard the gunshot. Now there is no guarantee that the detective was sitting on the bench at the time. Therefore, you believe he must have been at the crime scene at defendant lobby number 2. Am I correct? Yes, that's exactly right. Let me ask you something. Do you think that the gunshot you heard was produced by a real gun? I think I've said enough that even you can figure out the rest on your own. Your Honor, you were fooled by the popping of this balloon into thinking it was a gunshot. What manner of trickery is this? That was a good effort you put, Miles Edgeworth. But if it was me, I'd have wrapped this thing up before the judge even finished. Care to elaborate on how one ends something before it even begins? Well, to be honest, I did think that the sound was a bit off for a real gunshot sound. But who could have guessed that someone would pop a balloon in a place like this? That's true. One doesn't usually think balloons in conjunction with courthouse. I want to trade these coins with you. That's it. That balloon that girl was holding, it explains everything. Your Honor, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lie once in your testimony. However, I can't really vouch for its accuracy. Who knew that giving testimony could be such a difficult thing to do? What have I done? I owe Detective Gumshoe a very big apology. I will see to it myself that he is released. Wait, there are still a few things I have yet to resolve about what happened in the hallway. Your Honor, I request your permission to further question Detective Gumshoe. But why? I thought we just cleared his name. Whether we did not just now or not, I still cannot say. The only thing I can do for now is to continue in my quest for the perfect explanation. And to that end, I must resolve the remaining issues pertaining to the events that occurred in the hallway. Very well. Bailiff, please bring Detective Gumshoe into the courtroom. I must fulfill my mission and find the perfect explanation to this case. And he's back. What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I've already told you a gazillion times, pal. I didn't do it. I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe. No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that. No. I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of that. Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental? Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe, I'm afraid I must apologize for an error in judgment on my part. Your Honor, I don't believe you should apologize just yet. We have yet to prove he is completely innocent of this crime. I guess so. What are you guys talking about? In any case, I would like you to testify as to your actions while you were on guard duty. And please remember, you are not on trial. This is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found to be innocent. However, if you should give a false testimony... Yow! My whip will object loud and clear. If you are found to be lying, you will be held indefinitely. Understood? I gotcha, pal. Picking back on the state of the crime scene and the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying, and if I can't break his lie, then we may never get a break in this case. BRB. Alrighty, Edgewolf. No problem. I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. From that time on, up until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. On my honor as a detective, I swear it wasn't me, pal. He's still singing the same tired tune. In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying, and this time I pulled the information I need out of him. I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got in guard in lobby number 2. Then until I heard the gunshot, I was in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it!
You claim to have been in that hallway the whole time. However, is it not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway? Of course I did something. I guarded the door to lobby number 2, pal. What else? Very well then. And what exactly does guarding that door entail? Well, to put it simply... Oh, I know. It was my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch. Oh? Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2? Is that really what you wish to testify to the effect of? You got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door, just like I was ordered not to.
The sheer difference in the nature of the analytics you have to do in investigations versus the main series is fascinating.
Yeah, it is very different. Both games are very different. And I wish there were more investigation games like this, because they are quite fun.
What? Why is everyone so quiet all of a sudden?
Because we are all in shock, and in awe of your utter stupidity.
Scrappy, if you're going to lie, at least tell us a more believable one.
Youch!
But I'm not lying. I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close.
Until I heard the gunshot and take a single step away from lobby number 2 door. Fingerprints.
Objection!
Maybe there will be, since they translated the second game.
Here, maybe. Maybe that'll be the next game for all we know. A new investigations game.
I have an objection.
What is it, pal?
Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognize this from somewhere.
Hey, it's one of those things. The courthouse special Swiss rolls, right, pal?
Precisely. In that case, I suppose that you also recall this sullied hallway bench.
Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that.
Detective Gumshoe, you know you can't go around dirtying up the courthouse like this.
You inconsiderate slovenly pig. Eek.
I promise not to clean it up later, I swear. Now then, shall we get down to business? About the fact that you didn't move even a single step from in front of that door. If that really were the case, then how were you able to buy a pack of Swiss rolls?
Back.
Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get the bench dirty with your grubby hands?
Youch!
It appears that Franziska's whip can do more damage than my words alone can.
Alright, I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? I thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me eating on the job. I didn't want to say anything.
Well, unfortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. I clearly saw you buying a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine.
Okay, I'm sorry for lying. But that's all I'm sorry for, you got that? Because I'm not holding anything else back.
The last statement, it may sound like he made sense. It may sound like it made sense. However, there is something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us?
Huh? Of course not. I got nothing else to hide, pal.
If only that were true, Detective Gumshoe.
But it is true, pal. I swear there's nothing else.
Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you are aware of the price of a pack of Swiss rolls, correct?
Huh? Remind me again, pal?
That vending machine out in the hallway is selling packs of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack. And yet, according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed in your $5 annual bonus check. How did he get the other dollar, guys? Anyone remember? Or no? Isn't that right?
No.
Let me ask then, how did you manage to purchase a pack all by yourself? Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that?
I told you, I just bought it myself, pal. There wasn't anyone else in that hallway with me, so there was no one else who could have helped me buy it. Wait, don't tell me. You got some kind of proof that there was someone else in the hallway, don't you?
Correct.
As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that?
Wait, you do?
Of course I do. What? How?
What proof do I have that there must have been someone else there in the hallway? It is the Swiss roll.
Take that!
Hey, you showed that to me not 2 seconds ago, pal.
Ah, I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of rolls.
Wait, if you didn't buy it, then that means you must have stolen it, you thief.
What? I would never do such a thing.
All you liars are the same. You start out as thieves. You're under arrest, pal.
I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. And in that case, why does that say about you? What does that say about you, Detective?
Grr.
This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone.
Oh.
There were 2 rolls in this package. You ate one of them, but you then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you?
No way, pal. You got it all wrong. I hate both of them.
Well, where'd she come from?
It would appear that we've caught you at last. Hey, don't you dare do anything bad to that girl. It would appear that they do know each other after all. So why don't you continue to come up to me and kick me? Have I wronged you somehow?
Have a name, and it's Kay.
Kay what?
Kay Faraday.
Faraday? Are you perhaps Mr. Faraday's daughter?
I am not a you, I'm Kay.
Kay. You know, good little girls don't kick other people. Especially not hard enough to leave a big nasty bruises like the way you do.
Well, then you shouldn't have put Gummy under the arrest, mister.
Gummy? My guess is that she's talking about Detective Gumshoe.
What a cute nickname you've given him. Gummy didn't do anything wrong.
Kay. It appears that I will need to speak with her in a bit more detail.
Rawr.
Alright, you little...
Now then, Kay. Hiss.
She's like a stray cat. I wonder if I should feed her something. Here you go. Eat this. Eat a balloon piece.
Take that!
Okay, I promise to give you this to you if you calm down.
Oh, a Swiss roll.
It really belongs to you though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was saving it for Daddy.
Oh my. Your father, he's... don't you dare say another word, pal. She doesn't know yet.
Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already know about Daddy. I overheard the guards talking about how he's not here anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't protect him. Kay.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna... cry!
It's alright. Let it all out. Your father just passed away after all. I myself was also involved in a case like this at this courthouse when I was a young child. A case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. Hey, Hedgewolf. Welcome back. All of my dreams of becoming a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep into the abyss of my soul. Ever since that incident, I've dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen right in front of me. This child, I feel a certain shared fate, a common bond between us. Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch a lady cry? You're right. Sorry about that. Okay, here, how about we use this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes?
Quiver.
Honk! No! My cravat! Don't blow your nose on that!
I feel better now. Thanks.
That's nasty. Okay, are you going to be alright?
Yep, I'm already alright.
Somehow, I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it.
I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers.
And you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right?
That's right. Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still going to keep all my promises.
You're a very brave girl, Kay.
You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I'll even testify that you didn't cry, just for you. Thank you very much, lady.
It's nothing. I'm only telling the truth after all. It would appear that because her father was a respected prosecutor, Franziska is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. Kay, what kind of person was your father?
Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people in the world.
Is Edgeworth a bit of a punching bag for the series? For this particular game, yeah. For this game, yeah.
His job was to catch all the bad people in the world.
So, to you, a prosecutor is a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are in a sense as we are the only ones who could seek guilty verdicts for criminals.
Plus, you know what? Whenever I came to the courthouse, Daddy would buy me my absolute favorite treat, Swiss rolls.
Oh,
I want to be a hero of justice someday, just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard.
I see. And what have you been working hard on?
I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together.
A promise notebook? May I take a look inside, Kay?
Sure, okay.
It appears to be an exchange diary of sorts between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. Okay. Does it say anything?
Never take things from a stranger, never go anywhere with a stranger. Always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know, never cry in front of strangers. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. Daddy's job is to make sure that everyone follows the rules. Okay, be a good girl and promise that you'll keep your promises to me, okay? Love, your Daddy. Ah.
Thank you for showing me. Hope you'll continue to work hard and become a hero just like your father.
I'm gonna try.
Hey, Kay, I'm a detective that catches the bad guy people, right? That makes me a hero too.
Yeah, you're a really cool too, Gummy.
Yeah, aren't I, Kay? What is with the two of them? I hand down verdicts of justice, so that makes me a hero too.
Yes, and thanks to your oh-so-heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail.
I'm really sorry about that.
Gummy is not a bad man, okay?
That poor judge, he's being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay.
Yeah, we're friends.
In that case, would you mind telling me a little more about him?
But first...
It's the promise notebook Daddy and I made. I have to be a good girl and keep all of the promises we wrote in here.
I'll take a look inside for just a second.
Sure, okay.
It appears that there are more than just the 5 I thought there were. Promise 6. If you ever have a boyfriend, you must bring him to meet Daddy right away. Promise 7. Even when you have a boyfriend, never forget that I love you the most. I certainly don't envy the poor sap she falls in love with.
Yay!
Achievement unlocked. Promises 6 and 7? That's silly. So I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier.
Yep. I was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi.
And when was this?
Huh? Oh, before everything got crazy.
How long were the two of you together?
We only talked for a little while, and then we went to our we went on our own ways.
That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked for a little while, and that's it.
Oh, which means we have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, isn't that right?
So Kay's the murderer. Oh, you got me.
I told you to stop picking on Gummy, mister.
Very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. Look at her little jumps. She really is a ninja, or a thief, or whatever. Were you the one who bought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay?
Well, I didn't really have a lot of money, and I somehow made $1 out of all the pennies and quarters I had, but that still wasn't enough, and I really wanted one.
Come to think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1, and that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct?
Yeah, thanks a bunch for doing that, mister.
Sure. But let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct?
Well, that's why...
Hey, if you bully Kay anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal.
Did I remind you that you're the one already under arrest? So cute, I know. Kay is another one of the, cuties from this Ace Attorney series. Up there with the Trucy and Pearl.
Yow!
I sense that Kay is going to be less than forthcoming with this question.
Sorry about your... Sorry about your ruffly thing.
Yes, well, now that it's positively drenched in your nasal mucus. Don't worry, Kay, I have a spare. So here, you can have this one.
But Daddy said, never take things from stranger.
It's one of the promises you made in your promise notebook, correct?
Yeah, look, see? It's right here on this page.
Okay. Alright then, I'm not giving this to you. I'm merely allowing you to borrow it.
You can take it home, wash it nice and clean, and then give it back to me next time we meet. Okay, Daddy never said I shouldn't borrow things from strangers.
And he just has another one. Just at the ready.
Now then, Detective Gumshoe.
Uh-oh.
I believe it is now crystal clear that you were with little K in that hallway.
Oh.
Garrett, I told you to stop being mean to Gummy! Miles Edgeworth, there is still something you have to get to resolve. I beg your pardon? You still haven't offered an explanation for why that man would lie to us. Well... Gummy, don't tell me you lied for my sake.
Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Ah, so that's why. So what was Detective Gumshoe's motive for lying? If you can't explain that, then you can't call this a perfect investigation. His reason for lying is very simple.
What?
Here is what I believe to be his reason. From simple observation of the detective's actions and his interactions with Kay, it's obvious that the detective was lying for the young girl's sake. And this piece of evidence will show you exactly why. This piece of evidence proves that Detective Gumshoe was lying on account of Kay. Jumped the gun a little bit. I thought I was done pressing evidence for this particular thing. Okay. The Promise Notebook.
Take that!
Mr. Faraday and Kay's Promise Notebook? How does this explain... anything? If you could take a look at this page, it's clearly written that Kay should never take things from a stranger. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay. What a foolishly foolish fool's fool of a foolish reason for a fool.
Yow!
Gummy, you lied because of me, didn't you?
Because I'm your friend, Kay. That's why.
Gummy! At long last, Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now?
Guess there's no beating you, huh, pal? Okay, I'll spill the goods. I've been standing guard for a while. I was getting really hungry, and that snack vending machine was taunting me. But
all the cash you had on you was 5, and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item in that machine is a $6 pack of Swiss rolls.
Yeah, but then like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up.
I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy. I wanted to buy a Swiss roll, but I only had about $1 in coins.
So we pulled my 5 and her 1 together, and bought a pack of Swiss rolls together.
But I was worried about breaking one of my promises, so then Gummy said,
Miss Faraday is one scary guy when he gets mad. But don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I don't tell, right? Besides, you brought it with me, so you didn't really get it from me, you know?
He told me it'd be okay, and he gave me a whole roll to save and give to Daddy. Who knew that Scruffy could be so considerate? Indeed. Detective, I take it that you sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together.
Yeah, we spilt the other roll and ate it right then. The sweet taste of that cake's chocolate, I'll never forget it as long as I live, pal.
Anyway, Kay, I believe this also belongs to you. Oh, that's from the balloon I popped. It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this one piece away. It was sitting high up on the windowsill where you couldn't see it, so just this once, I forgive you. But that balloon, I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. And because of me, Gummy dropped his half of the Swiss roll.
Aha! Wow, you really got me there, pal.
So I thought maybe I should give Gummy this other roll. And then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister.
So you kicked me, is that it?
You sure are a feisty one. I'm really sorry, mister. It's alright, I'm perfectly unharmed. But about the Swiss roll, wouldn't it be alright with you if I held on to it until Detective Gumshoe is cleared of all charges and free to go? Yeah, sure! Just make sure you give it to Gummy afterwards, okay? Of course, I promise. Now then, I believe we have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty. Which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe cannot have committed the double murders.
Objection!
Oh,
Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe is the only one who could have committed the crime.
what do you mean?
It's quite rude to eavesdrop, Miss Yu. I'm getting lectured on manners. by a girl with a penchant for whipping people. What? How dare you talk back with such insolence? You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not the bad guy. Oh, and what are we here? What is a child doing here in a courthouse? Bailiff, please take this child away. What? Miss Callisto, you? That girl is Mr. Faraday's. I know. So what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, she gets to just run wild all around the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her to speak nothing of getting underfoot. I suppose you're right. However, so long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Now then, Detective, you were in front of the door to lobby number 2 the entire time, correct? Yeah, but... You see, isn't it obvious that it could only be the detective? He is the only person who could have gotten into lobby number 2 at the time of the murders. Arrgh. I have no counter-argument to that. Don't worry, I've already put in the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest. But the investigation is far from over. Oh, that's right. I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to the suspect out in the open without a guard? I suppose it is. Well, as someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on a criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence. Ooh, Miles, I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like this. This is unforgivable as a disciple of Von Karma. Down, Tigress. Now then, I'll be looking forward to the result of your investigation. So we're back to square one. Actually, this is our last chance. I can tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all of the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we have yet to inspect. It's where Detective Bad and Miss Yu were at this time of the crime. Lobby number 1. Ho ho ho. Who's ready to explore number 1, guys? Who's ready to save the progress, guys? What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? Hey, Stars, I can see ya. You're ready? I know you're ready. It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. Aw, too bad, but it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks, I'll treasure it, always. Those two seem to get along rather well. Oh, here, I got something else for you. Yay, thank you, Uncle Bad! Earlier, I ate one of those with Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe. Gummy is Sniffle. He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy. Hiccup. I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in this investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant, so I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. Now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? Grrr. I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu was looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Yes, what is it? I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So, please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this, but in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who would be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She went it off while I was pondering.
Who do you think it is, guys? We pretty much met everyone in this case already. So who do you think is the killer this time around? Anyway, hi, Bad. Bad. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy.
Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay?
It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point.
Pretty sure it's Bad. He was the only one who could have told Gummy to wander off, or told him to guard a room he set up the crime scene in.
Ooh, we'll have to see if you're right. Is it you, Bad? Are you the bad guy, Bad? I don't have time to waste.
It sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like you to confirm with you once again.
I don't have anything to say to you.
Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate.
It's that ultra-stunk perfume Yu wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here.
Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent is in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it.
I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? So now we have the bottle. Now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic.
Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating.
Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about.
Tch.
How about
during the recess?
So you were in this room the entire recess?
Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here.
At least your story is consistent. Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu.
Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk with me about something, so we came in here.
Then what are you saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations?
Guess I am.
Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you.
Oof.
Let's see, Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KGA incident, and as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on the case.
You knew?
I also knew that today's trial involved the Kodopian embassy staff member. It is being referred to as the second KG8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday, and the KG8 incident.
If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you.
Alright, tell me about the KG8 incident. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG8 incident.
It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell.
The honest truth behind the KGA incident. And look, he has a lollipop! Ah ha 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 ha, I told you!
You were here during recess, why didn't you go to the playground to play? Good question. That's what I would do. The first thing to do would be the swings, obviously. The honest truth between the KGA incident.
Yep, he has a lollipop. I knew he did.
I knew it!
Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG8 incident.
It was a lollipop, you are right. It is a lollipop.
Exactly. So,
objection to people.
Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring.
You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries?
The trial was just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted, all because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed.
You thought you had it dead on with the cowboy pick?
He's not really a cowboy, though. He's a rough and gruff detective. A rough detective type.
And what became of the secretary who was arrested?
His name was Colin Devore. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring, but he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Devore was probably being intimidated by the big boss man, just another scapegoat.
The boss man of the Amano Group? He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? But the bullet holes in his scars scream cowboys.
It also screamed detective that was in a shootout with peoples. But yeah, I can see how you thought cowboy.
He's just missing the big hat. The big hat, bro. I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? I remember correctly. I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him.
That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, I was supposed to protect them both.
Miss Yu did mention that as well, about how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister.
But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap.
What kind of a trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap.
I see. You mean you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident.
I see.
I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned, and that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu.
How about when you first met Miss Yu? It was on the day of the verdict of the KG incident was handed down, was it not?
Yes, Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across my face.
Well, she certainly has a lot of self-control to stop it just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again.
After that, you've seen her many times over, correct?
Yeah, Faraday and I, even after the KG-8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases, but the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring.
Is the ring really that big?
It was in that pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah. Yu was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason.
Uh-oh, crazy lady seems suspect. Oh my gosh. Hedgewolf. How very misogynistic of you to say that stuff. That is insane. Chill out, mod sensor thingy. What's it called? I don't know what it's called, but you're good. Don't worry. Come to think of it, miss, you did say something to that effect. I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG incident, alright? Why, lol. It said misogyny. Crazy Lady is apparently misogynistic for unknown reasons. And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer. Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rell was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. Doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of Avant Karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of a craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all.
What's your relationship to Faraday?
What was your relationship to Faraday? Mr. Faraday, you even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked up quite a few cases together.
But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case.
Did we touch a nerve?
Huh.
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial, to prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accused, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either.
I sense that there's more to this statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary.
Tell me about this Yatagarasu.
You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share with what you know with me?
What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent toward Faraday and Rel.
I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu.
What?
The KG incident and the second KG incident, both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring, and in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rell claimed it to be the Yatagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd?
Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already.
I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time.
A reason, huh?
And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu.
If it will help you solve this case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu.
Oh, what was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident.
Yo! It still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever.
I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits.
Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. You want a lollipop now? Little fun fact, I actually don't like lollipops all that much. I mean, they taste good, but there's always that stick in the middle, and I just hate that stick so much. But that's my confession with lollipops. That's how I know, right? That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. Grr. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And that sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy. The Yatagarasu. Hard candy is always better when it's the kind you can just pop in your mouth. Yeah, no stupid shtick. So I just like the... What? I can't believe this! I know, right? I'm sorry. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. Give me a second. Okay. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. Ah, and that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. If you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. Well, I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experience what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I have now a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Franziska, there is no need for further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor, Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence. Your Honor. Oh, yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would accept that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. She is busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honor. Pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could very well be a good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. And maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. I place all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they are all accounted for. I'm going to check. Actually, can I go this way? Is there anything new here? Oh, this guy's still sleeping.
Kay's chilling here. What if there was a thing? Not a thing, a secret character that we can find at this point? Like Winston Payne is nearby or something? I should have been the attorney this time, the prosecutor. Fudge. Evidence that Miss Yu prepared is just sitting there on this table. You know you can't just walk off with it, right? Of course I do. Miss Yu must have been caught off guard by your client's sudden accusation. I wonder how she would have defended Mr. Rell in that case if he was still alive. So this is the evidence related to today's Kodopian Embassy trial for Mr. Faraday, Spag. You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just the data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time. Agreed. Want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Gah! Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see the knife up close. So we have the knife, the gun, and an envelope. And what's this organizer doing here? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. But what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside the evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it to be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that? What a strange stroke of luck. We'll never look a gift horse in the mouth. You might as well flip through it too. Worse until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, let's examine Mr. Knife first. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? And it never crossed your mind that you used your writing craft for the wrong purpose? This gun was originally used to kill the Kodopian Embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. Looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted and down in here. I have collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the security tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have proof that I can use to prove that Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell were not the Yatagarasu. No matter how hard I try to play into it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. Yes. Long battle. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have had made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is the clue straight from Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. It appears to be a key, and a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? The Yatagarasu's key? Detective Bad said something earlier. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media, but not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Kodopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? Need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, there's a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is only one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. In order to solve this mystery, I believe that I will need to take another look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Franziska. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. It was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into this courthouse. The key!
Take that!
This Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into this courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Franziska, to see what I mean. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you've finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. But that's impossible. No. Even if that is what you believe, you should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. Oh, this view. Aha! Very sneaky. I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Cool, I know, right? Don't you love little mechanisms like that? Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, the key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Okay. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. Then maybe Mr. Rell really was the Yatagarasu, and he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that the one possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, but when we questioned Rell about what was sent along with the white card, Rell had no idea what it was. I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. Seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. But wait, there's more! Took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. Suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should. Perfectly, and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, the embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of a shock due to being shot in the heart. Macrell was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because a murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. The Kodopian Embassy security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance window the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence, and the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. Surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Video showing the moment in which Mr. Rell committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. This looks incriminating. Oh yeah, very incriminating, the video. Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties? What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene. There's something wrong here. Something about the missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I'll have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime. Defendant lobby number 2. Dun 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 dun! That guy looks familiar there. That's Detective Bad, but who was he with? I've never seen that officer before. So did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Heh, so you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? Huh. What was that all about? And who was that man just now? I think with that, guys, we're gonna save. The level of incompetence present in this justice system is frankly depressing, even by American standards. I know, right? These peoples, man. And this is like way back in the day. Imagine how much worse it gets by the time Apollo Justice comes around. But yep, I'm gonna call it here, guys. Thank you all very much for stopping by. Next week, I reckon we can beat the first game. The first game in this collection. That's gonna be my prediction. Hopefully, we can. But yep, thanks for coming by, everyone. Thanks for sticking around as long as you have. I'll see all of you tomorrow for more salt. So look forward to it. Love you all. Bye-bye.